Stephen Curry has one season left on his contract. On August 29th, he becomes eligible to sign a new deal with the Golden State Warriors. Or wait. Speculation that Golden State Warriors star Stephen Curry could be traded has intensified, following the Warriors' failure to land LeBron James in free agency. And Curry is entering the final guaranteed season of his contract, which will pay him $62.6 million for 2026-27, becoming eligible to negotiate a 2-year extension with Golden State later this summer. On August 29, that timeline is now the center of the entire basketball world's attention. Let's get into what's actually happening between Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors. Part 1. The standoff. So here's where things stand right now. Curry is 38 years old. He's sitting on the last guaranteed year of his deal, and instead of a quiet extension getting rubber-stamped the moment he's eligible, there's real tension bubbling under the surface. A new report suggests Steph Curry may not be in a rush to commit his long-term future to the organization. Instead of signing a contract extension immediately, Curry is reportedly considering waiting until free agency. That's not a small thing. That's Steph Curry, a guy who's spent his entire career in one place, floating the idea of making the front office sweat. Why would he do that? Because some analysts believe delaying that extension could give Curry greater leverage over the Warriors' front office, with the argument being that withholding a new deal would increase pressure on the organization to improve the roster, rather than continue protecting future first-round draft picks. Think about that for a second. Steph Curry, 4-time champion, might be using his own contract as a bargaining chip, not for more money, but to force Golden State's hand on building a real team around him. And it's not just outside analysts pushing this narrative. Rumors around the NBA suggest that Golden State Warriors star Steph Curry may no longer be happy with the direction of the team. That's a heavy sentence for a guy this loyal. Here's what set it off. While several Western Conference rivals have aggressively upgraded their rosters this offseason, the Warriors have remained largely on the sidelines. The franchise was connected to multiple high-profile players throughout the summer, but has yet to make a meaningful addition. The biggest swing and miss? LeBron James. Golden State spent the entire summer chasing him, and missing out on LeBron James only added to the frustration, leaving Golden State with many of the same questions that surrounded the roster at the end of last season. Now here's where it gets interesting, because Curry himself wasn't just sitting back watching this play out. He got personally involved in the recruiting pitch. Marcus Thompson, too, reported that Curry had already changed his mind on the Warriors going after the big fish before LeBron's decision came down, saying it was uncharacteristic of Curry to get involved in the pitching process, doing a public gesture that felt like the Warriors had found another star. And it wasn't just LeBron. There were also reports that the Warriors would trade for Anthony Davis, which again found no resolution. Star chasing that goes nowhere. Twice in one summer, with the face of the franchise putting his own credibility on the line to help make it happen. That's the backdrop for a phrase that's now circling the league. The Athletic's Marcus Thompson, 3, reported, "I think he's probably tired of the star chasing. Tired of star chasing. Not tired of basketball. Not tired of winning. Tired of chasing names that never land. Summer after summer, while the roster around him stays functionally the same." And rival executives have noticed. Stephen Curry trade rumors are heating up after rival NBA executives urged the Golden State Warriors star to consider leaving the franchise. According to sports reporter Evan Sidery, league insiders are pointing to the Charlotte Hornets, Boston Celtics, San Antonio Spurs, and Miami Heat as top landing spots if he ever decided to actually go. There's even a hometown angle to it. Curry grew up around Charlotte. His dad played there, and executives around the league are floating it as a real possibility if he ever hits the open market. If Curry declines a contract extension with the Warriors, he will become an unrestricted free agent in 2027. So that's the shape of it right now. A 38-year-old franchise cornerstone, a front office that keeps swinging and missing, and a growing question of whether Curry is willing to keep waiting on promises that haven't been kept. That's the fight brewing beneath the surface in the Bay Area, and it's only getting louder as August 29th gets closer. Part 2: How We Got Here, the quiet offseason. To understand how a guy this loyal ended up in this position, you have to go back through what the Warriors actually did or didn't do this offseason. Because this isn't a one-summer problem, it's been building. Golden State entered this offseason with real flexibility. They had draft capital, they had cap space concerns, but real motivation. And they had one obvious priority: land a second or third star to play alongside Curry and Draymond Green before Curry's prime years run out completely. The number one target was LeBron James. Throughout much of the summer, the name of LeBron James was linked to Golden State, with various reports suggesting that the franchise was still looking to add another big name to convince the veteran forward to join the project. The pitch, on paper, made sense. The Warriors could have pitched the spectacle of a legendary pairing with Stephen Curry, the proximity to his family in Los Angeles, and the fun he could have in a relaxed environment with longtime friends. But it wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. Plus, they didn't make an off-season trade to make it more appealing. Golden State's beat reporter Anthony Slater wrote, "LeBron went to Philadelphia instead, ending one of the biggest storylines of the summer. And once that fell through, everything else came into focus." Trade speculation involving Curry grew following the Warriors' failure to sign LeBron James in free agency. Even though NBA insiders caution, there is little concrete reporting behind the rumors. Here's the thing that made it sting even more. The Warriors weren't just quiet. They were historically quiet. Heavy.com's insiders pointed out that there has been much disappointment that the Warriors did not make a deal using their 3 tradable first-round draft picks this summer, and the team is being criticized for prioritizing the post-Curry future of the Curry present. Read that again. The front office was reportedly holding onto assets meant to protect the team after Curry retires, instead of spending them to help him win now. That's the exact tension Curry's camp is said to be frustrated about. And it's not just draft picks sitting untouched. The roster on paper going into next season is largely the same group that struggled through injuries last year. The team whose offseason swung most on what James would do is the Warriors, who are running back much the same team as last year, except with Jimmy Butler and Moses Moody still out with knee injuries. That's a brutal detail. 2 of the team's best complementary pieces are already banged up before the season even starts, and there's no reinforcement coming from outside. Now, to be fair to the front office, this isn't a case of them doing absolutely nothing for years. Go back to last season's moves. Trading for Jimmy Butler was seen as the aggressive swing that was supposed to fix everything. Steph Curry was the mouthpiece for the potential of a big 3 between him, Draymond Green, and newly acquired superstar Jimmy Butler III, saying he was excited about it because there's clarity at the top of the roster. Draymond Green backed him up at the time too. The biggest change that needed to be made was we needed someone like Butler, Green said. And we made that change. The hardest part is done. But basketball doesn't care about optimism in July. The season that followed was one of the roughest stretches of the Curry era, and it's the direct reason this summer's inaction feels so much heavier. Part 3, the season that broke things. Injuries, trades, and a play-in exit. If you want to understand why Curry's patience is being tested, you have to sit with what actually happened on the court last season. Because it wasn't just a disappointing year, it was a slow-motion collapse. It started fine. The Warriors were around 500 through the first month. Nothing special, but nothing alarming either. Then the injury started. More mediocrity and a tease of things looking up came before Jimmy Butler's torn ACL, followed by Steph Curry's lingering knee issue, trading Jonathan Kuminga for Kristaps Porzingis, Moses Moody's torn patellar tendon, and the season ending with the highs of the first play-in game, then shifting to the sadness of a loss and an unknown future. Let's break that down piece by piece, because each one of those matters. First, Jimmy Butler, the guy who was supposed to be the 3rd star, the guy Curry publicly campaigned for, tore his ACL. That's a long-term injury. That's a guy who might not be right for a huge chunk of the next season. Then Curry himself got hurt, a knee issue that lingered. For a 38-year-old, lingering knee issue isn't a footnote. It's the kind of thing that quietly ages a player's whole timeline. Then came one of the more jarring roster moves of the year. Golden State traded Jonathan Kuminga, one of their former lottery picks and a guy who'd been part of the young core for years, in a deal that brought back Kristaps Porzingis. Kuminga's situation had been a slow burn for a long time before that. A summer-long contract dispute between the NBA's most dynastic team in the last decade and the fifth-year veteran had loomed over the Warriors' otherwise stale offseason the year prior, with Golden State's lack of transactions stemming from confidence in what already existed. That confidence betting on the Butler-Curry-Green core instead of investing further in Kuminga's development is part of what set up this whole chain reaction. When Butler went down, there was no easy replacement because the guy who might have filled that gap had already been dealt away mid-season. Then Moses Moody, another core rotation piece, tore his patellar tendon. That's brutal timing for a team already down 2 of its top 6 players. The season ended about as low as it could. The Warriors fell well short of expectations. A 37-win season was never an idea for a team that still had Curry, Butler, and Draymond Green. Injuries and inconsistency ravaged a season where the Warriors were just never good enough. Head coach Steve Kerr didn't sugarcoat it afterward. "I think that injury just derailed us," Kerr said, after the Warriors' final game. He meant Butler's ACL specifically, but it could describe the whole year. And even in the middle of that collapse, Curry was still the one holding things together. Just look at how he described it afterward. "The through line, which is hard on anybody in this situation, especially with us keeping this thing together, is knowing that when Jimmy got hurt and Moses got hurt, the whole calculus of everything changes." Curry told The Athletic's Marcus Thompson how do you get through their absence and still stay at a certain level? And then how that goes into this year. "It's the same deal." That last line, "it's the same deal," is doing a lot of work. He's saying the exact same problem that sank last season is still unresolved heading into this one. Nothing got fixed. Nobody got added. The injuries are still there. The draft picks didn't provide much relief either. Golden State did get a lottery selection. The front office entered the offseason facing a slew of potential free agents, while 2 key rotation players, Jimmy Butler III and Moses Moody, were dealing with long-term knee injuries, and the Warriors held a lottery pick, number 11 overall, for the first time since 2021. That pick, along with a re-signed Al Horford, gave the roster some depth, but nothing close to the star-level fix Curry and the front office had spent the summer chasing. So by the time free agency wrapped and LeBron picked Philadelphia, the Warriors weren't just disappointed about missing one player, they were staring at the exact same injury-riddled, thin roster that had just produced a losing record and a first-round playoff exit before the postseason even started. That's the fuller picture behind why this contract decision carries so much weight. Part 4. The contract chess match. Now let's get into the actual mechanics of what's coming on August 29th, because this is where the real leverage battle plays out. Curry's current deal pays him a guaranteed $62.6 million for this final season. Starting on that date in late August, he becomes eligible to sign an extension, and the number being reported is enormous. According to NBA insider Evan Sidery, Curry is on the verge of a new extension that would pay him roughly $68 million per year, with the Warriors expected to offer Curry a 2-year, $136.7 million max extension on August 29th. That's not a discount. That's Golden State offering him max money. No hesitation, the moment the rules allow it. But here's the twist. Not everyone in Curry's camp or around the organization thinks he should just sign it right away. ESPN's Brian Windhorst laid out an entirely different theory on live television. Could Steph Curry conceivably play the 2026-27 NBA season without a contract for the 2027-28 campaign? In the mind of ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst, that's the only way for the Warriors to retool the roster. Windhorst's argument is about math, not emotion. His thinking is that tying up $65.70 million per year with Curry's expected extension limits what the Warriors can add around him. If Curry signs now, that money is locked in, and Golden State has almost no room to bring in another difference maker. But if he waits, if he lets that extension window pass, something interesting opens up. If Green re-signs for just the 2026-27 season and Curry doesn't sign his extension, they would become free agents next season, along with all-star wing Jimmy Butler, giving the Warriors flexibility to add 1 or 2 big-time stars through free agency or via trades. Then they could bring Curry back on a smaller contract. That's a wild idea to even float about a 4-time champion, asking him to take less later so the front office can finally build the team he's been asking for. Windhorst didn't shy away from saying the quiet part either, pointing to Curry being 38 years old and having said that he wants to play several more seasons. As part of the balancing act, the front office has to weigh. Meanwhile, there's another camp that thinks Curry himself might be the one holding out, not for team-building reasons, but for pure leverage. Some reporting frames it as Curry, recognizing that if Curry chooses to delay extension talks, it would be a clear indication that he wants to see the organization become more aggressive in its pursuit of another championship. So you've got two competing versions of the same delay. One says the front office should be the one asking Curry to wait so they can maneuver cap space. The other says Curry himself might be the one applying pressure by making them wait, and league insiders are already gaming out. What happens if this drags into the season? The bad news for Warriors fans is that this isn't going to cool off at all until Curry either signs a contract extension or the front office manages to strike a deal to get Curry significant help. Depending on how the start of the 2026-27 season goes, Curry could ultimately be one of the biggest names to be mentioned in rumors ahead of the trade deadline, unless he or the Warriors opt to openly shut down any chance of that happening. Let that sink in. A guy who has never worn another jersey in his entire pro career is being talked about as a live trade deadline name if this season starts slow and the extension still isn't signed. Not everyone buys into the panic, though. Clutch Points insider Brett Siegel pushed back hard on the idea that any of this ends in an actual trade request. Siegel said Curry's exit from the Warriors is an impossible scenario, knowing the 4-time NBA champion's principles and loyalty to his team. Stephen Curry is not requesting a trade, Siegel wrote. Anyone who believes that doesn't know who he is and what his values are. And Curry has receipts on that loyalty going back years, long before any of this extension drama, when he was staring down a different free agency decision. He made his feelings pretty clear about leaving the Bay Area. "It's hard to see myself anywhere else," he said. He also gave a more recent look into what actually drives his loyalty. And it's not blind. "I'll continue to make the decisions that are best for me and for my career at the end of the day. I want to win. If it is a situation where you're a bottom feeder and it's just because you want to stay there, I'd have a hard time with that," Curry said. That's the tension in one sentence. He wants to stay, but not blindly and not forever if the team stops giving him a real chance to win. So where does all of this actually leave Stephen Curry and the Warriors heading into the new season? The front office has made its intentions clear, at least on paper. According to Anthony Slater of ESPN, the Golden State Warriors are reportedly open to the idea of signing Stephen Curry to a 1- or 2-year contract extension, and the franchise has made its position clear, ready to offer him a 1- or 2-year extension and continue building their future around the player who forever changed the history of Golden State. Head coach Steve Kerr isn't going anywhere either, which matters a lot to Curry personally. The Golden State Warriors secured one of their most important off-season decisions when Steve Kerr agreed to a 2-year contract extension. The winningest coach in franchise history is back, and the core partnership between Kerr, Stephen Curry, and Draymond Green continues for at least 2 more seasons. Curry has spent 12 seasons alongside Kerr, winning 4 championships together, and Curry himself, even through all the frustration reported around him, has kept sounding like a guy trying to find the next version of a formula that's worked for over a decade. "Now, we're just collaborating on new ideas to try to get us back to where we belong and think about it differently," Curry said. "Maintain our culture and our core principles to the level that we were. But it's a different team, different era of basketball. You have to be able to adjust and adapt, and I think Steve is up for the task. That's not the voice of a man plotting an exit. That's a voice trying to solve a puzzle he still believes has an answer in San Francisco. But the puzzle is real. Butler's still recovering from a torn ACL. Moody's still working back from a torn patellar tendon. The roster is largely the same group that finished 37 wins short of expectations last season. And the front office, by its own reported logic, is still weighing whether to protect draft capital for a future without Curry in it, or spend it now to build one more real shot around him. Public sentiment among people watching this closely still leans toward it never actually reaching a trade. The public still sees it as highly unlikely that the Warriors will trade Steph Curry, and even the reporting on possible destinations admits the latest reports suggest there's a bit of a rift with the Warriors. Given no clear path to competing in the Western Conference this year, though the trade rumors are more like curiosities than Curry actually being placed on the block, the safest bet still sits with the numbers. There is skepticism around the NBA, of course, that the Warriors would ever actually consider trading Curry, and there is equal skepticism that Curry would ever ask for a trade out of Golden State, the franchise that he almost single-handedly turned around during his 18-year tenure. So here's where this actually leaves things heading into August 29th. Curry hasn't demanded a trade. The Warriors haven't shopped him. But the trust that used to make this an automatic no-drama re-up has taken real damage after a summer of missed stars. A season wrecked by injuries and a front office some around the league think is quietly bracing for life after him. What happens on that date and in the weeks after it will tell us whether this was just one rough offseason in a career full of them, or the first real crack in the longest, most loyal partnership the modern NBA has ever seen. Blog DBasket, how Stephen Curry will renew with the Warriors. Yahoo Sports, Stephen Curry will sign $136 million max extension. IB Times UK. Stephen Curry, trade rumors explode. The big lead, Steph Curry no longer on same page as Warriors. Spotrac, Stephen Curry contract. Blue Man Hoop, Stephen Curry extension news. NBC Sports Bay Area. Steph Curry contract extension idea. CBS Sports, Steph Curry. 4-year, $215 million extension. CBS Sports, Stephen Curry first to $60 million. Yahoo Sports, Stephen Curry trade rumors, rival execs. HNGN, Steph Curry. Trade speculation grows, Heavy.com. NBA trade rumors, Stephen Curry talk heats up. Heavy.com insider brings end to Steph Curry trade rumors. Prize Picks, Steph Curry, trade rumors, mock trades. Yahoo Sports, demands for Warriors to trade Steph Curry. Heavy.com, NBA trade rumors, Stephen Curry leverage. NBA.com, 2026 draft profile, Golden State Warriors. NBC Sports Bay Area Warriors 2026 offseason outlook. NBC Sports Bay Area Warriors grades turbulent season. Projecting Warriors starting lineup. Steve Kerr on Jonathan Kuminga. ESPN, Stephen Curry says Warriors shouldn't make desperate move. Yahoo Sports, Steph Curry sends concerning post-LeBron message. Yardbarker, insider hints, Stephen Curry, tired of star chasing. Heavy.com, Steph Curry, Steve Kerr Warriors future. Deadspin, Stephen Curry's future with the Warriors. Stephen Curry Warriors future 2016.